Well, we had a month off, Chip, and we're finally back.
Yep, it's about time. I'm itching to do another podcast, but when it comes to retail, everything has to take a back seat. I just got done inventory yesterday, so now it's time to just have fun.
All right. Let's go to the big story. We missed the whole bowl season since we've been off the air. Um, we were gonna
We didn't
go.
miss too much though.
Uh, no, actually, it hasn't. There weren't many. There were a couple really good games. I caught the Cotton Bowl between Michigan State and Baylor. That was a good game. Um, Other than that, I think the three playoff games were kind of disappointing. Oregon crushed Florida State, which I think everyone thought they would. Ohio State totally outplayed Alabama, and then the national championship game last night, Ohio State was dominant again against Oregon. They won 42-20. They dominated like every facet of the game, really.
I don't think many people saw that happening, but it's good to see the Big Ten win one occasionally,
Um,
especially since they're for the first time since what 2000 there were no SEC teams in.
uh, no,
2000,
2003, I think.
it's still a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last show I said I didn't really think Ohio State deserved to be in, but they got in and through the back door, and they made the most of it. They played well enough in the two games to be the national champion, and give all the credit to Urban Meyer and that coaching staff with a third string quarterback going in there and winning a title. I still don't think they should have been in, but that I want to kind of discuss that a little bit. The final poll came out, and TCU still got robbed, still got screwed. They finished third behind Oregon. Like,
Even though Oregon lost.
Oregon lost. TCU crushed Mississippi in the Peach Bowl, destroyed them. I think it was like 49-7 or something like that. Just completely demolished them. Yeah, they finished third with what, a 12 and 1 or 13-1 record, and Oregon State was what, 13-2, and it. But in ESPN did a too early poll or something. TCU's the number one team, uh, rightfully so. I think TCU still should have got in. I don't think Ohio State should have. But like I said, Ohio State made the most of it, and they're the national champs.
Yep. Did you see that Georgia signed Brian Schottenheimer as their offensive coordinator?
I did, and I knew there was something I was forgetting when I was reading this the rundown down. But yeah, I did see that. And I was going to talk to you about that. That's what do you think? Where their coordinator went to head coach somewhere?
Yeah. Shit. Where is it? I forget where he went, but yeah, he went somewhere. He went. I want to say it was somewhere in Colorado. He went to be a coach, and then they just signed Schottenheimer. I like it. I mean, Schottenheimer is a good offensive coordinator, especially with having two good rookies coming in to two really good rookies, freshmen. Sorry, not rookies, freshmen coming in next year to Georgia. I think Hudson Mason. I think this is his only year. I think he was a senior. He just graduated. So it's going to be interesting, but to see quarterbacks grow with an offensive coordinator will be a good thing.
Excuse me. Yeah, nice, nice. Now I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but I was reading a lot of things online saying that the tournament, you know, should they add two or four more teams to the playoff? I say yeah, and I think we did briefly touch on this, but this is what I came up with. This I think is a genius solution of how to
Okay.
do this playoff. You have the Power Five conferences, right? Have their
Mm-hmm.
conference champions be in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Should I? And in the case of the Big 12, they need the regular season champ until they get a title game. They're in automatically in. You have two at-large teams. Then you have the highest ranked mid-major to give the little guy a shot. And if there's
Okay.
no and if there's no mid majors ranked, you add you in a season you add a third at large team, and then there's your 8. I mean, that's the fairest way I think you should do it. And then I get all these people backlash saying, "Oh, you're extending these kids way too much." I'm like, it's only one more week. You're only extending
Yeah.
it one more week, and then you had Division 2 and 3 who have 16 team playoffs.
And plus, what you can do is you can also get rid of that last, that, like make the one of the championship, because isn't there like a layoff before? Like some teams don't play for like a month, right?
Yeah,
Or two or 3 weeks after they finish their season before the championship. Just make it another week.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're going to play 16 to 18 games a
and
year anyways in the NFL.
yeah, and that's what I said. I'm like, people are like, well, they're more prone to injury. I'm like, well, they're gonna play 16 games in the NFL anyway. Might as well do it in college. I
I
mean,
agree.
Division 2 and 3 do it, and you don't hear them bitch about it. They do it, but oh, it's Division 1. You know, these kids are extended too far. And that's another thing I think we want to touch on. Should college kids get paid? I think we did touch on this a little bit, but I don't want to retouch on it. Um, I say no. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, it's hard to say. I wouldn't totally shoot down the fact, but there's got to be have to be fair about it.
See,
But I mean, it's technically their job. So that, I mean, going to school is a task, but they're technically it's like they're in an intern program basically. But wait a minute, interns don't get paid usually; they only get college credit. So maybe not.
here's the thing: they get free education, whether they go to class or not. It's free. They get free rooms, free a roof over their head for free. Their books are paid for. And when I went to school, my books were like $600. So that was at a community college. So I don't know how much they are in a university.
Usually about 1,000.
So yeah, that's free. No matter, I don't care what these athletes say, they get free meals. That's part of their tuition. They get 2 free meals a day. That's part of their tuition. So I don't care what these. Oh, I went to bed hungry. That's not. And then it's your fault. They do get meals. So, and if they don't, and if they say they don't, they're bullshitting. Also, when they say that these kids can't have jobs, that's bullshit. They can have jobs. Yes, being a full-time student and a full-time athlete is hard work. But you also have an off season. Why don't you work the whole off season, save up your money, so if you are hungry, you can go out and buy something to eat. Am I right on that?
No. I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
So I that that bugs me the wrong way. It they're getting everything. They're taking a full ride to college. They don't need to get paid. They'll get paid in the NFL, and with basketball, I this is what I should say. I say with basketball, if you're good enough to go, if you're good enough to come out of high school, let the kid go out of high school. Why have this one and done rule? If he thinks he's good enough straight out of high school, let him do it. It's his life. It's his mistake.
I've
Sometimes
always agreed with that. I think they should be able to do it right out of high school.
maybe it's not. Maybe it won't be a mistake. But this is for basketball. Football's totally different. Maybe it won't be a mistake like Kobe and LeBron or,
Mm-hmm.
or Garnett. But what about Kwame Brown? I mean, but there's always an exception.
Yeah, the quantity.
It's
Yeah,
either
I mean,
it's either let him go right out of high school or make them stay 4 years. It's one or the other. If he wants to go to high school, then him out. If he wants to go to college, he needs to stay 4 years. Needs to.
Okay.
Because, yeah, people are like, well, what if he gets injured? Then he has a college education to fall back on. Yeah, he'll probably lose millions of dollars, but guess what? That's the price you pay. At least you're getting a free college education to fall back on. They're student athletes, not athlete students. And if you want to go for college football, same thing. Or instead of high school, if they're going to go to college, make them stay 4 years. Make them. You'll have better talent going into the NFL if they don't get hurt, because these people will be more polished, and they'll have a college education. That's the best of both worlds, right there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. It really is. It is the best way to do that.
If they get hurt, they get hurt. But whatever, they still got school to go to, and if they want to drop out, that's their problem. Not like they didn't have the opportunity to go. I mean, that's the way I see it. They should, but that's me. All right. Let's go to the NFL.
Oh wow, what a crazy week that was.
This may be the Pats. I hate the Pats, but their offense I think is illegal, and it's been illegal for years.
Illegal. Why do you say that?
Because when the defense subs, you have to let the defense sub in.
That's what John Harbaugh was getting on the other day, right?
Yeah, you have to let them sub. If they make subs and the guys run off the field, you can't run a play. You're not supposed to be able to run a play. That's why in college, the ref steps in and holds the ball so you can't snap it, because the defense is allowed to make substitutions. The Pats are the only team that do that, and they get away with it constantly. And then they have the most. I read a stat as that their opponents get called for 12 men on the field at least once a game.
Yeah, and that's what happened again with
against the Pat. Yeah. So against the Ravens. So their offense is illegal, and I don't know how the league is actually allowing them to do it. I know why, because it's the Pats and it's Tom Brady and it's Bill Belichick. And did you watch the game?
Yeah, I actually did. I had a day off. I actually got to watch it.
The one time where Brady got hit and then he got pissed off about it. He like, I'm Tom Brady. I'm not supposed to get hit.
Oh, that pissed me off. That pissed all the Ravens fans off at the bar.
I was like, he knocked you down. It was a legal, clean hit. Why are you getting pissed off about it? Because you got hit? Stop being a fucking pussy.
Tom Brady's a bitch.
He's expected to get this fucking preferential treatment. And then 90% of the time he does. That's what pisses me off. The league caters to them so much. It's because they're like the Yankees of football.
Yeah, I agree.
Because love them or hate them, they draw ratings. So they want them to be in there.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm starting to veer away from football and become more of a diehard hockey fan. I'll watch it when it's season time, but I'm losing interest because it's becoming a pussy sport.
That's what basketball's doing to me. I sat down and watched every Final Four, national championship game from 1990 to 2012. God, the game has changed. Even though we're talking about football right now, but God, the game has changed so much. They're calling these little touch fouls, and if you watch the earlier Final Fours, these guys are getting hacked and nothing's getting called.
Yeah, it's like street ball in the early years.
It just I'm like, why? Why is that a foul? And I don't understand how the offensive player runs towards you, you have your hands up, he gets knocked down, and it's a foul on you. How is that a foul on the defense if he's the one that's an idiot and ran right towards you?
Yeah, I don't know that either.
And then the jumping up and leaning in, that should be a charge.
Yeah, you mean like on a jump shot where you pump fake and you get them up in the air and you lean in?
Yeah, that should be a charge automatically. Every time it's called on the defense. Why is it called on the defense? He's the one that leaned in. Yeah, he wants the contact, but this should not be a foul on the defense. It should either be a no call or a foul on the offense. The defensive guy, yeah, he went for the fake. He's trying to block the shot. The guy leans in towards him. Whatever. Basketball's fucking pissing me off, and this is why we don't talk about it much on this show because I fucking hate it.
Yeah. But back. What about Andrew Luck beating Peyton Manning?
That was the one game where I'm like, I can see happening. I can see the Colts beating the Broncos. I didn't call it. I thought the Broncos were going to win. I was talking to my buddy. I'm like, I can see Dallas beating Green Bay, and I can see the Colts beating the Broncos because Manning hasn't played well the last half of the season. So I was like, I can see it, but I don't think it will happen. But it happened. Now, the Pats are going to be at home, where they get all their calls. It's going to be a night game. I don't think the Colts have a chance. Against the Pats. My heart is like I want them to win, but my gut and my head are going. The Colts are going up. They don't have a chance because the Pats are going to get all the fucking calls.
Yeah.
So, NFC Championship, Seattle Green Bay. I don't see Aaron Rodgers going up there hurt and beating the Seahawks.
Yeah, no, it all depends on how he's going to be feeling. But I want to say it's going to be the Colts and the Seahawks in the playoff in the championship.
That's what it's either I want the Colts, Seahawks, or Packers. Any team but the Patriots is what I want. And if the Patriots go, I want to see them play Seattle, and I want freaking Seattle to crush them if the Pats go. But the thing is, the AFC Championship game's the last game of the day, so we'll know who the NFC representative is before. But
yeah, but so with Joe Flacco throwing the interception at the last minute this weekend in the game. So does that question his ability to be an elite quarterback in the NFL? He buckled under pressure, basically.
Well, he threw into double coverage, and his first he threw 2 picks, and both times he threw into double coverage. I'll say I don't think he was elite to begin with. I mean, he was really good in the playoffs, but his regular seasons haven't been really that great. He's a good quarterback. He's above average, but I think those were the 2 times to where he was like, I could fit it in the window, and he just got picked. I don't think it was because it was a bad decision, but I think that he had confidence in his arm and his wide receiver to get there, and they just the last one he pretty much overthrew. There was no way. Who was that? Torrey Smith?
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't think he was going to get to that ball. I mean, he probably would have, but the throw was off, so that was Joe Flacco's fault. This first one, he just... Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I mean, if 2 picks in a playoff game rattles his confidence, and he was never an elite quarterback to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't really start the season out good at all, but...
No, not at all.
But he came back. Speaking of the Ravens, Gary Kubiak will be staying in Baltimore.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's good for them.
And now let's go. This surprised me yesterday when this came out. John Fox leaves Denver.
Yeah, it says it was a joint decision. They decided to part ways. After the game, John Elway said he didn't expect any of the coaching staff to be back next year.
Well, because you have Adam Gase. He's gonna probably be the next head coach in San Francisco. He's interviewed there twice. Jack Del Rio will probably leave for Oakland, and then John Fox, who was interviewing with Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of surprises me why John Fox left. I mean, yeah, he would probably lose his offensive defensive coordinator, but you can get plenty of them. I mean, but why would he leave? Maybe Manning's retiring? I mean, that and that's what the speculation is that Manning's going to go off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And that's
So what
why
happens? Who do they draft a quarterback next year?
if Manning leaves, they have to. I mean, who they got? Brock.
Brooks Osweiler,
Yeah, from Oregon or not Oregon? Arizona State. Is
I
it?
think.
That's where he's from. But um, I think they'll give him a shot next year, and then if that doesn't go well, they'll draft a quarterback. Um, that's if and Manning played that game with a torn quad. And I remember watching the pregame for I think it was Fox. I think it was Holly Long that said a strained quad and a torn quad are basically the same injury. I'm like, no, they're not. I'm like, how is it basically the same injury? One of them's a strained muscle that can heal in like a week. The other one's a torn quad, which will need surgery to repair. What a dumbass. And I was just like, oh, you're so dumb. It's like,
Yeah,
shh.
but I don't know. I mean, I'm getting tired of hearing the excuses when the games are over, and like, oh, I heard this, I heard this. It's a 16-week season. You go play football from August to January. Of course, you're going to be hurting. Don't need don't need to use that as an excuse.
Well, for what, a 38, 39-year-old quarterback, when he needs his legs to power off, he toughed through it. I'm like, I don't. And obviously it bothered him because you watched that game too.
Yeah, I actually got to watch both.
Um, he was overthrowing a lot of their receivers, and because he was putting too much arm into it. I think if he probably didn't because he thought he was overcompensating, which you thought he would be able to fix, but he really didn't. But I mean, yeah, I'm like the injuries. I never really bought the injury excuse, but if like your star quarterback is injured and he's toughing through it and you lose, imagine what he would. Imagine how that team would have done if he was 100%. You can only imagine. I'm like they lost, they lost. Yeah, it happened, but
Hmm.
you can only imagine. Be like, man, Manning was 100%. We would have had this, but
So you think that what's his name? Andrew Luck's going to be the best out of that class that came out with Robert Griffin III.
he already is the best. Well, Russell Wilson was
Russell
in that
Wilson?
draft. I forgot Russell Wilson was in that draft. Well, you kind of say Russell Wilson's the best right now, can't you? Since he's already won a Super Bowl.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
well,
that's true.
but
I guess you
but
could say that.
you could, but I think Luck is the better quarterback than Wilson. But Wilson has a running game with Marshawn Lynch. He's a pass first quarterback that can also run. So I mean it. He's a dual threat, and he has a decent arm.
Yeah, he
So
does.
and he has a better defense than Andrew Luck. So I mean he's gonna win a lot of games. But I think Luck's a better quarterback. But Wilson ain't too bad either.
No, it's not. Well, with that, pretty much has ended the football season. We only got what, two more games to go?
Three. The two conference
Well,
championship
yeah,
games and the Super Bowl.
two conference championships. Yep, and the Super Bowl. So this season kind of flew by for me.
Yeah.
I did like the Redskins signing of the guy from Seattle though.
What's that?
The GM, the new GM for the Redskins.
Oh. I thought they like signed like a coordinator away. I was like, what?
No, they're talking about signing either Raheem Morris or I forget who else tomorrow. It's going to be announced tomorrow. Wade Phillips did not make the cut.
Oh, for defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Oh, that thing you posted about Rob Marinelli being the Bucks quarterback was a fake site. It was fake.
So it was.
Yeah, I can't find any news. I went to ESPN.com. I went to Tampa Bay's website. I went to NFL.com. I didn't see anything of it.
Uh,
So,
but it'd still be good if he did become the defense coordinator. It'd be great for you guys.
well, we have Leslie Fisher. I mean, he actually didn't do a bad job last year. To be honest, I mean, yeah, we had a couple like blowout losses, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we lost by I think five or more, five or less points, like 6 times. But that wasn't really the defense's fault. We didn't have an offense. So, I mean, I think the defense played really good. And actually, I was talking to my brother, and he's like, "Who do you think the Bucks should pick for the first round?" And I was like, "First pick." And I'm like, "I don't know. I think they should trade down." And he's like, "I think they should too." And he's like, you know who they should trade it to?" I was like, "Who?" He goes, "Cleveland." I'm like, "Cleveland?" He's like, "Yeah, they got 2 first-round picks." It's like, so trade Cleveland #1 overall, get their 2 first-round picks this year and a first-round pick next year and the year after.
There's no way that would fly.
And I'm like, huh. That actually wouldn't be bad because then I go and I keep saying this. I still think you should give Mike Glennon a shot. He's had 3 different offensive coordinators. He hasn't played a full season. He easily outplayed Josh McCown last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Give him a shot. Give him a full season to play with that defense, and then this is what the Bucks should do. I don't know what pick the Browns have, but I think it's in the top 10 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
I say you.
Oh yeah. No, I thought you were like 5 or something.
No, Bucks are #1.
Oh, the Bucks taking the first pick.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Browns. If we do that
Browns.
trade, I think what we should do is get either Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, or T.J. Yeldon, and then with their next first-round pick, draft an offensive lineman.
Okay.
So then we have a running game, we have a decent quarterback, and we have Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans. And then during the draft, pick like a tight end, so we have a tight end. And then I think we should be decent this year, and then can go through free agency and see who can't pick up. That and my brother said that. I'm like, actually, to me that makes sense. Instead of drafting Mariota, like that makes more sense to me than like building your team instead of just drafting one guy. You're getting more picks that could potentially be better players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that actually makes sense. What we got? Speaking of the Browns, they are interested in the Dallas's offensive coordinator Bill Callahan.
Okay.
And also for the offensive coordinator position, and also interested in the Jets
Yeah.
assistant head coach Anthony Lynn to be assistant head coach and offensive coordinator. Also, if I was Bill Callahan, I'll stay in Dallas. I want to go to the Browns.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the his best play. So, what do you think about this rule that is came in effect again?
Oh, the process of the catch rule.
Yep.
Personally, I think the rule sucks. I don't think it ever should have been implemented. But
I agree with you too. But
with Des Bryant, according to the rule, they got the call right. I mean, you can't. The rule's horrible, but they enforced it right.
No, I agree. It happened it's the Calvin Johnson rule. That happened in Chicago 2 years ago.
Where he caught it, put it 2 feet down, and then dropped it like immediately. That's a touch. That's still a touchdown. I don't care what people say. That's a touchdown. It's not like he was
in the end zone.
It wasn't like he was bobbling the. Yeah, he was clearly in the end zone. He was like 5 yards in. That's it. He caught it, fell in bounds, Both feet were down. And then he dropped it like he was like he caught a touchdown.
Hmm.
I mean, so all the Cowboys fans out there who say that it was a catch, it was, but technically it wasn't. So,
It was a catch, but by the rulings in football, it's not.
yeah, I know, right? It was a catch, but the rule says it wasn't. It's a dumb rule, and it always has been. And really, it was only the Calvin Johnson play and then this play were really the only two plays like ever really affected by it. So it wasn't. So that tells you the rule wasn't really that great to begin with.
Yeah, I think it'll be reviewed and taken
Oh,
out for
they
next
are.
year.
They are. They're reviewing it in the off season. They are. They're going to be reviewing it in the off season, and it'll get taken out. I mean, that's. But then they got to make adjustments though, because that ball was bobbling when he came down with it.
Exactly, and that's just
But
like the
but it
RG3 call against New York Giants. How he was going across the line, he was bobbling the ball before he crossed the line, but he had control of it as he crossed the line. Still a little bitter about that call.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't really do anything about it now, but I mean, but he can't. But he bobbled it. But when he was down, his elbow was down. It never touched the ball. Never touched the ground. He was still bobbling it. That's the thing, though. Like if you're on the ground and you catch the ball, or or say like same with him. He got it. He bobbled it. But as he's bobbling it, his elbow touched, but the ball never touched the ground, and then he got control of it. That's still a catch. I mean, the ball never touched the ground. Regardless of if he was bobbling it with his knee hit anyway, it's still a catch. The ball never touched. That's what I always said. If the ball's not touching the ground, it's a catch. It doesn't matter if his knee or elbow's down or not. He still has the opportunity to catch the ball. And that's a dumb rule, too. And I think that's part of it.
So there's not much going on right now in baseball.
I still got
But
some
I
more
did.
football to talk about here.
Oh, what you got?
Dick LeBeau leaves the Steelers,
Yeah, that was bound to happen.
and he could go to Arizona, and that could be awesome for Arizona. Because I think Tom Moore's leaving to either coach the Jets or the Falcons, or not Tom Moore. I'm sorry, he's the offense corner. Todd Bowles. If I was
Yeah.
Todd Bowles, I'd pick the Falcons easily. But also, this in today, Greg Roman to become the Bills' offensive coordinator.
Who is Greg Roman?
He was the offensive coordinator for San Francisco.
That's right. Yeah.
And now with Rex Ryan in Buffalo, you hear he pretty much let Jim Schwartz go. Or Jim Schwartz left the Bills due to differing defensive philosophies. So now Rex Ryan is bringing in Dennis Thurman to become the new Bills defensive coordinator, who was his defensive coordinator in the Jets. Here's the Bills' ranking. The Bills were 4th overall in defense, 3rd in turnovers, and 1st in sacks, and you're letting him go. For a guy, I didn't look up the Jets. I didn't look up the Jets stats. I probably could do it real quick, but I laughed at that. I'm like, you're letting go of the defensive coordinator who led you to them, and it's not even close. I mean, why would you do that? God damn.
You alright over there?
Yeah, I'm a little tired. I'm looking up the Jets thing right now, see what their stats are.
I don't know. It's just if they keep calling soft penalties, I think I'm just going to be done with football. It's just getting on the nerves.
It only lets me do rushing. It only lets me do offensive stats on my phone. Whatever, dicks. Well, yeah, with Greg, and I said this to a fan who's a Bills fan. They go, oh, we got Rex Ryan. He's not that bad of a coach, and Greg Roman, he's a good offensive coordinator. I'm like, look, Rex Ryan's a horrible head coach. The Bills were not the right team for him. They don't have a quarterback. They're actually in a worse case quarterback wise than the Jets are. Just the Bills have a better defense. The Bills are the Jets with a better defense right now. That's it. So they let go of Jim Schwartz to bring in a lower tier guy, and then you hired Greg Roman, who this year did nothing for San Francisco in their offense. And San Francisco has more weapons on offense than the Bills do.
Yeah, that's true. They do.
Rex Ryan's is a guy who needs strong coordinators around him. Greg Roman and Dennis Thurman are not those guys. So, I think Rex Ryan right there just did the two worst moves he possibly could. And he hasn't even coached one game for the Bills yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Horrible decision for the Bills to hire him. If I was Rex Ryan, I would have went to Atlanta. If it's a big if Atlanta offered me the job, I would have went to Atlanta. Because they have the talent on defense to be an elite defense, but they aren't. And you have Matt Ryan. You have a good offense.
Yeah.
It's for a defensive coach, it's easier to turn a bad defense into a good one than it is a bad offense into a good one if you're a defensive minded coach. So yeah, I think that's a horrible move by the Bills. Dirk Cutler becomes the offensive coordinator for my Bucks. He used to be the offensive coordinator in Atlanta.
So did they let all the Atlanta coaching staff go?
I think so. Mike Smith's gone, which I think is a bad move. Even though he only won.
I'm shocked by that move, actually.
I think he only won 1 or 2 playoff games, but I still think he was a really good coach. He'll get hired somewhere as either an offensive coordinator or a head coach somewhere. All right, moving on to Major League Baseball. The Padres, since we last talked, loaded up. They got Justin Upton, Matt Kemp. I don't know if we talked about them, and Will Myers. I don't know if we touched on that or not.
I think last time we talked about Matt Kemp as being the last one that went on.
Yep. The Padres are also in the running to get Cole Hamels.
Sheesh.
James Shields could be going to the Diamondbacks.
Wow, really?
Yep, that's what I heard. Not confirmed, but he could be. Jesus. The A's trade. The A's are trading people left and right, too. A's trade catcher John Jaso and a couple minor leaguers to the Rays for Ben Ubrist and their shortstop Escobar.
I don't know what's going on. I think the A's are going through a fire sale. They're just getting rid of everybody.
Yeah, but they got Ben Ubrist, dude. He's fucking pretty good. So,
yeah, no, I thought someone else was going for him, and it was almost a done deal I was reading today.
Probably the A's, because that's what happened.
No, it wasn't the A's. It was someone else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I guess things change in a few hours.
Also, the 2015 Hall of Fame class has been announced. We're like a week after that. Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio get in. Thoughts? Chip?
Yeah, I was wondering where you went.
I said thoughts.
Oh, it's about time for Randy Johnson. Who's the other one?
Pedro Martinez, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio.
Biggio. I was glad to see Biggio get it. It's funny because I was sitting there and I was I made a comment to my wife when it was New Year's. I was like, you know what? When I was younger, I used to not recognize any of the people that died throughout the year, and then sit there and showed who all died celebrity wise this year, and I recognized everybody. Remember, there was a point when I didn't recognize people going to the Hall of Fame, and now I recognize everybody. I guess it's official. I'm starting to get old.
Yeah. Randy Johnson going as a Mariner or a Diamondback?
Ooh, good question. I would say Mariner though.
I'm gonna say Diamondback because there's a guy on the ballot next year that's surely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it will be a Mariner, and that's Ken Griffey Jr.
Bigger Mark. Oh yeah,
Ken Griffey
he's
Jr.
not up yet.
Next year.
Oh no, that's right because he had that stint in Cincinnati. You're right.
Yep. Yep. This is Randy Johnson's first year too. Same with Pedro's. Actually, me and my brother, we were talking about this. We had a debate about it. Whether John Smoltz deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I say if all the other five aces from the Braves get in, yes.
Well, you had Maddox and Glav. Steve Avery's not getting in. I don't think so. I agree. Smoltz deserves to be in. But me and my brother looked it up. Kurt Schilling has better numbers. Mike Mussina has better numbers. Why aren't they getting in and Schultz did?
I was shocked about Cena not making it. I mean, I'm Mussina not making it.
Yeah, I think Chris Schilling only got like 39% of the vote, and I'm like, he has better numbers than Smoltz, and he's won 3 World Series. Smoltz has won 1. Is because Smoltz, had those 100 saves, and that's why he got in over
That could be.
over Schilling. And Mussina's probably the best pitcher to ever win a World Series. I mean, I'm like, whatever. What really made me mad, though, and I think I posted on my personal Facebook page, is the voting. You only had this is the first year where you're only allowed to have 10 people on the ballot, as opposed to 20. I'm like, why? That makes, and I guess it makes it more prestigious or something, but this year and next year are going to be stacked. I'm like, next year I think there's only going to be 2, maybe 3 people being elected in. Ken Griffey Jr. is going in. Mike Piazza missed this year by I think like 28 votes. He'll be in next year. And Trevor Hoffman will be in next year. Maybe. And maybe, I doubt it, but maybe Billy Wagner. But
is he eligible next year?
Billy Wagner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, but you have guys like Jack Morris who deserve to be in. The most dominant, the most winning pitcher in the 80s.
Yeah.
He should be in there. I think Barry Bonds should be in there. I think Roger Clemens should be in there. And obviously...
So even though the steroids, you're still putting them in?
Yeah. Steroids does not help you hit a baseball. It may help it go farther, but it doesn't help your eyesight.
No, that's true.
You need to be able to still hit it. You still need to be able to hit a baseball. And I think I said it before, one of the hardest things to do in sports is to hit a baseball. You still need to be able to do it. Steroids or not. And Clemens, he never really looked like he got any bigger. I mean, he denied using steroids. He's never admitted it. I mean, he was in the Marshall Report? And then that's it? And I was like, oh, he's in the Marshall Report. He's on steroids. He looked fatter as the years went on, but he still pitched really good. He never looked any bigger. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I also think Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire should get in. There's a lot of players that should get in. I think this year and next year is Alan Trammell's last year, and me and my brother looked it up, and he really didn't. He didn't really, have the offensive numbers, really. He's more of a defensive guy. And I said, but what about Ozzie Smith? Ozzie Smith had worse numbers, and he was a first ballot Hall of Famer because of his defense. So,
Yeah,
so I
his
mean,
defense was still.
and I think 2017 you got Tim Wakefield and Jason Varitek. I'm biased towards them. I think Varitek should go in on defense alone. He has caught and called the most no hitters in Major League Baseball history. I mean, yeah, the pitcher has to execute the pitches, but he knows when to throw them. He's telling the pitcher when to throw. So I mean, yeah, and Tim Wakefield is just my favorite pitcher of all time. So I'm biased towards him. I think he should get in.
Oh no, I do too. I think he should definitely get in.
Plus, he's just so unselfish as a player too that I just think he should get in. I think the Red Sox should retire his number.
The Orioles actually just picked up J.P. Arancibia.
Did they? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, we lost one of our Headley. Headley went somewhere, and then we needed somebody else to back up Matt Wieters when we picked up Arancibia from Toronto.
Very, very interesting. All right, moving on to hockey. The Ducks retired Teemu Selanne's jersey the other night.
And tonight, Hasek is getting retired.
And what's that?
Hasek is getting retired in Buffalo tonight.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's just signs we're getting older. They're retiring people we used to grow up watching numbers.
I'm like,
I like the classic part by the Ducks and the Jets. Oh no, it was
Jets.
the Ducks.
It was the Jets.
Yeah, how they were wearing Teemu Selanne's number in every jersey he's ever worn in the warm-ups.
Yep.
I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really, really. It was weird to see, but it was really, really nice to see. Bruins Simone Gagne will not return this season due to personal reasons.
Yeah, I read that. His dad died.
Yeah.
But no, just give him time to regroup and come back next year even stronger.
Yeah, I agree on that too. Supposedly the Bruins were fighting amongst each other in practice.
The Bruins, I heard the Penguins and the Habs were. I didn't know you all were too.
Yeah, Marchand and somebody else got into a fight in practice. Nah, whatever. Don't matter to me.
There's been two fights in Penguins practice. Braden Trust and PK Subban got into it the other day at the Canadiens practice. I just don't get why everyone's fighting each other. It's just
I don't understand either. Let's do our team beats here. The Bruins are 22-15-6. They are barely holding on to the last wild card spot. I think they're starting to get it together. They play Tampa Bay tonight. This could be a tough game.
Ooh, yeah, but I don't know. Tampa Bay just got squashed last night.
It don't matter though. It don't matter though. Every game's different.
True.
Barely holding on. I think they're finally starting to come around though. We beat the Flyers 3-1 the other night, so we looked good doing it too. So hopefully that was a turnaround. I don't know. We've just been off this season. It's like Travis. You know Travis. It's like every time there's a big hit, he calls out oh, the Bruins are dirty, but it happens at least one time in every game of the season. He doesn't call anyone out, just the Bruins. I think that's funny.
I mean, you saw a video I posted the other day with a 5-minute video of nothing but hits in the NHL.
Yeah,
that's why it's a good sport.
The Canadians do the same thing every game, but God, if I say something about the Canadians, it was a clean hit. It was the same hit.
Just the Bruins are fighting amongst each other right now.
I mean, it's the same hit that the Bruins guy just did, but it was a Bruins player doing it to another guy, so it has to be dirty. Like I was reading comments, everyone's like, "Oh, Bruins fans are assholes. They're dirtier people than the Bruins play." I'm like, no. I mean, yeah, we're physical, and I don't know why I keep defending the Bruins on this. We're a physical team, always have been, probably always will be. Get over it. Expect it. It's
Yeah, I agree.
hockey. It's not like they're dirty players. They're just taking advantage of the rules. If you want to we can hit people, we're going to hit people. That's our game. We physically wear you down to where you really can't defend us. That's why we're so good in the third period.
Yeah.
We wear you
No.
out. And that's why our fourth line is amazing because the first three lines do the hitting and the fourth line does all the scoring. I mean,
Yep.
it's strategy. That's what we do. Anyway, fuck it. Talk about the Caps.
Well, Caps have been on a tear since and I will give Chicago Blackhawk fans. They were very cordial, very nice, and it was just a great game watching. Had a chance to watch a review to Epics, and well, I honestly thought it was 24/7s that were done. So, but I know Caps doing well. They just who they beat last night. Colorado, who's doing well this year. They're a nice team. Um, and I said like probably a few months ago that to eventually buy into Barry Trotz's system, and that's what's happened. They look really good. They're starting. Barry Trotz made a comment on the Road to the Winter Classic, saying, "You know what? We may not get 2 points, but if you point tonight, it's going to add up, and we're eventually going to be up there with the Islanders and the Penguins. And right now, we're actually, and that's only in the Metropolitan Division. I think we're like fourth in the playoffs right now.
You're a 5 seed, actually.
Five.
Yep.
So, but no, it's good, and Gingans are really starting to play well. Andre Burakovsky, which I called from the beginning of the year, and also Yevgeny Kuznetsov, the big-time Russian that everyone thought was going to be an amazing goal scorer. He's not an amazing goal scorer, but he knows what to do with the puck. He knows how to handle it and all that. So it's good to see. Making some movements. I know they got the Flyers tomorrow night, which is going to be good. So always love a nice rivalry game.
You were at the Winter Classic, and I watched it on a 70-inch TV. So yeah. I think that's it. Cause fuck basketball. I had notes on it, but fuck basketball. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, as always, fuck basketball. Yeah, this is just a quick one, just to get our feet wet again. So, all right, I guess we're done.
Yes, we are, sir.
All right, talk to you next week.
Peace.
Peace.